Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. It does not mean reconnection. Forgiveness does not mean you're ever going to see that person ever again. And I think that when a lot of people hear the word forgiveness, they hear something totally different than what forgiveness is. I've talked about forgiveness a number of times on this channel because it often comes up as part of the healing process. And it's also the biggest problem that I have or that I see with people being able to get over their emotional humps. They just can't forgive and release the person. They're still mad at them. They're still hurt about them. They still want to choke the fuck out of them. And I've been there. I totally get it. But at the same time, I also know that holding on to all that hot, angry energy all up in your solar plexus and in your heart chakra and your sacral and all up in you, that is not healthy for you. So today, I'm going to chat with you a little bit about forgiveness. Some people aren't ready for forgiveness. Some people need to be angry for a little while. Some people need to snap for a little while. But eventually, when you're ready to heal, you have to look forgiveness in the eye. Okay? So let me first do the introduction. I'm Queen Said Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and pass it on to anybody and everybody who needs to hear about forgiveness. They might not like it and they might get mad at you, but pass it on to them anyway. Likewise, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a positive comment in the comment section. That always helps the channel. And please stick around to the end of the video because I have 2 positive comments that I'm going to read and respond to. Likewise, if you would like to get in touch with me, if you want to get a reading done, if you want to be one of my patrons on Patreon, if you want to get some cool Ask an Aquarius merch, any of the above, please, please, please check out underneath this video. So let's get started. So somebody sent me this message, and I've seen this message several times. I've talked about it before. And somebody sent it to me recently. And I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about this because I have another piece on forgiveness this week. And I want to make sure that I've laid the foundation. So you're going to be seeing this video before or after the other one about forgiveness. But that one is about 2 people specifically forgiving each other. And I want to tell you about it because it's glorious. So this one says, I had to forgive someone who wasn't even sorry. Now that is strength. So what I wanted to tell people is that number one, as far as this particular message goes, that is strength. That is strength. Because a lot of people, what they want and what I always wanted, I always want both people to come together and hug it out and say, I'm sorry, and cry. And even if I never see you again, that we had that beautiful moment of repair, redemption, salvation, whatever you want to call that moment when 2 people heal a beef, end the beef, squash a beef, So I always look for that energy. But it's not always possible, as we see in this meme. Sometimes a person is not sorry. They're not sorry that they hurt you. They don't have the compassion. They're a sociopath, or they got some other kind of issue, or they're a narcissist and they're blaming you when it was their fault. Those kind of people, you can't really expect them to ever come and sing Kumbaya with you. You can't really expect to have that moment because those kinds of people, they don't even know that moment needs to be had. I've told you guys many times about my relationship with Voldemort. And Voldemort has never apologized for any of the things that he did. He didn't apologize for the negativity. He didn't apologize for the games. He didn't apologize for the stalking. He didn't apologize for, saying awful things to and about me. He didn't apologize when my father passed away, and he made comments about, oh, well, you didn't have him in your life anyway. Why do you care? He did that specifically to hurt me because he knew that bothered me. He didn't apologize for any of these things, and I forgave him anyway. And you know why I forgave him? Because in order to heal, you have to release. You have to release that energy. If you keep holding on to it, it's only going to destroy you. And I did hang on to it for a long time. I hated him for a long time. I wanted to fuck him up, to be honest with you. And in one of my stories, I tell you guys about how I almost killed him one night. I wanted to hurt him. I wanted to destroy. I wanted to take him off the planet because I felt like he was a waste of space. That's how angry I was at the things that he had done to me and other people. He's still doing things to other people. Somebody told me like 4 or 5 months ago he had gotten out of another relationship with another person that he did the same stuff to. So I had to forgive that, because if I held on to it, I could not heal. I could not grow past it. That anger was hot and heavy and, was in me, and it was like, it's going to drive you insane after a while, because it's like you're either going to act on those violent impulses, or you have to find a way to let that energy go. And that's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is not me reconnecting or singing kumbaya with them or holding them. I will more than likely never see him again. More than likely, we'll never see him again in this lifetime. And the next one don't look good either. Okay? But I couldn't walk around with all that anger and that bitterness and that malice in my heart. I couldn't, because I couldn't heal. So the thing about forgiveness is that it's not for the other person. It's not to reconnect with them. It's not to have sex again or to be best friends or to start hanging. It's not about any of those things, even though sometimes those things do happen. Sometimes you forgive someone and you both are able to be friendly again. Sometimes you forgive someone and you get back together. Sometimes you forgive someone and you're able to at least be polite and cordial. Sometimes those things do actually happen, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes the person is still unable to just basically apologize sincerely. Sometimes that person is still the fucked up person that did those fucked up things to you. They haven't changed. So they can't give you that closure. They can't come forward and hug things out. That would be nice, but they can't. Because they lack the ability to even see what they did. So the whole time you're holding out waiting for that, a lot of times, because I've had people come to me and they're like, I just want closure. I just want to understand. I just want to talk. I just want to say goodbye. They had all kinds of things they just wanted to do. And I was like, that's what's holding you back. Your desire for whatever that is that you're not going to get, by the way, is holding you back from moving forward, from healing, from finding a new relationship, from finding somebody that really cares about you. You're still stuck to that person who didn't give a shit about you, and you're letting that energy stop you from finding somebody who does. Because you have to heal to be able to get vulnerable enough to move forward with another person. Some people have more trouble than that than others as far as, moving forward. But a lot of people I see that have moved forward without forgiving, they haven't really moved forward. They might have got with other people. They might have gotten married again. They may have lived a whole lifetime. One of the things that I noticed, and this is something I did not know, and this is something that is very, very personal to my heart, but I'm going to share it with you guys because I think some of you might actually understand and it might help you in your struggles. When all my life, my mother had negative things to say about my father. And my mother's a Capricorn. My father was an Aquarius. He passed over. And the negative things that she had to say about him, when I was real little, it wasn't that bad, but it got worse as I got older. And the negative things that she had to say about him were 100% true, unfortunately. She wasn't telling no lies on him, you know? So all of my life, I didn't really get this, you know? So I knew at first I would defend him. Then I realized it was true. So I just didn't say nothing no more, you know? So time just continued to progress. And when he died in 2010, when my father died, my mother cried in a way that I've never seen her cry before. My mother, the Capricorn, is as hard as a rock. Her own parents died, and she did shed some tears, but she was so strong for her brothers and sisters. She had 11 my grandmother had 13 kids. She had 12 brothers and sisters. And my mother was a rock through that entire funeral and all that. I was like 7 or 8 years old. I'll never forget it because her mother was my favorite person of all time. And my mother held that gap for her brothers and sisters who were already grown by the time this happened, but everybody still needs their mom. Come on. And my mother filled in that space, and I know she was hurting. I know she had her own pain. And instead of dealing with her own pain, which I hope she did eventually, I think she's dealing with some of that stuff now, she turned to her family and she filled in that gap that her mother left when she passed over. My mother always did that. She was the oldest, and she always filled in the gap when her mother could not show up. And I noticed that, you know, when my father died, she cried even harder, even deeper, like the sound coming out of her. And I was like listening because I was an adult by this time. Of course, 2010, I'm an adult. And I'm listening to her and I'm like, that is love. That is agony. And I never knew she still loved him. That's when I found out at the funeral because I could hear it. And by that point, I was more trained as an empath and I had been doing priestess work for a long time by then. And sitting there listening to her, I could feel it. I could feel the love and I could feel the agony. And I could feel like she just wanted him to do better. She just wanted him to be sorry, to apologize, to come home, to do better. That was what I heard in her sobs. And it never happened. And every time I think about it, it breaks my heart because I didn't know that, you know, as a little kid. And I was crying for daddy. My mom was also deep down inside, silently crying for daddy too. So, unfortunately, people, we don't always get that happy ending, you know? So take them where you can get them because we don't always get them. And if there is somebody that you need to release, don't think about forgiveness as reconciliation. Think about forgiveness as release. So if there's somebody you need to release, even though you may not have had that conversation, maybe you haven't, maybe you have had it and it got nowhere, whatever the case is, let it go. Find books, find videos, find coping mechanisms. Do whatever you can do to find a way to release that hurt, that bitterness, that agony. Okay? I'm telling you, you're going to feel a lot better. I would not recommend forgiveness to you if I thought it would hurt you, if I thought it would bring a negative to your life. But I know for a fact from having done it myself that it brings positivity to your life. And a lot of times people think, oh, I forgave him. I just did it. I forgave him. A lot of times I've noticed forgiveness happens in layers. Like you peel it away until the resentment, the hurt, the bitterness is all gone. So I encourage you, if you need to forgive somebody, to go ahead and do it for you. Okay? Now let's take a look at these really good positive quotes. The first one is from Raul Quiroz. I'm not sure if I said that right. I don't think I did. But Raul said, as an Aquarius, I refuse to chase someone who doesn't want to be in my life or gives me mixed signals. I learned very early to never beg anyone to be in your life. If a person does not want to be in your life, or if they're giving you mixed signals, it means they're uncertain about something. They're uncertain about you, they're uncertain about themselves, they're uncertain about their feelings, they have unresolved feelings from the past. Something is not right. So if you're talking to a person and getting to know a person and that's what happens, just fall back. Just halt. Because you need to figure out what that is. So this person, Raul, said that basically he just, he cut him loose. He's not going to chase him. I agree with that 100%. Because like I said before, something is wrong here. And you need to find out what that something is, and that needs to be the focus. The relationship does not need to be the focus. The focus needs to be finding out what that something is, or it needs to be moving on. Because if this person, it says here, they're giving you mixed signals, then that means that they're confused. You see? So I would just leave them alone. Even if I revisit it or reevaluate it later, because I do have the tendency to revisit things later. I'll be like, this situation ain't good today. I'll be back in 6 months. This situation not good. I'll be back in like 9 years, So that can be the case sometimes, but in a lot of cases, it's just best to just keep moving. Because honestly, any of the people I walked away from, it's not one of them I would walk back to now. It's not one of them that would even be ready for what I'm proposing now. Not one. So yeah, definitely move on. Life is short. You're gonna spend your time waiting for somebody to do what you want them to do, and they might not never do it. So many things you could have been doing in that time. No. Stevie Sosa. Hi, Stevie. Stevie said, Griselda Blanco is my idol. She really was the baddest bitch. Stevie, I don't like a lot of things that she did. Some of the murders, basically. I don't really care about the rest of the stuff, to be honest with you. The other stuff she did, like the smuggling and all that kind of stuff, that's between her and the DEA. I don't care about that part. But some of the murders and things like that, they do really disturb me. But she was a bad bitch. I cannot fraud, I cannot fraud on her. She was one of the baddest bitches of all freaking time. I would give her that title. Just by the things that she did and the way that she handled her business. I'll give you that 100%. All right, guys. If you like this video, please come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.